Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Eric.
And I'm Vince.
And today's topic of conversation, being agile and doing agile.
So tonight we're going to start off with a quote from George Bernard Shaw. And the quote is, "Progress is impossible without change. And those that cannot change their minds cannot change anything." Now, why is that applicable for tonight's discussion? Because we're talking a lot about being agile and doing agile. So without further ado, why don't you explain the difference between being agile and doing agile?
So the concept of being agile, it requires you to utilize those four values and the 12 principles from the Agile Manifesto that we talked about in our last video. We start talking about transparency, trust, collaboration. It's that mindset, that different way of thinking about doing things that is being agile. And when we start talking about doing agile, we start talking about inspecting and adapting. We start talking about getting empirical data, delivering the product, bringing about a bunch of different practices. We start talking frameworks here. So if you think about Scrum has the daily stand-up. Well, if your teams are doing a daily stand-up, that would be part of doing agile. But if you're not applying the values and principles that the Agile Manifesto references, you're not being agile. You're not big A agile. You're not your corporation, your team is not agile. You may be doing agile, but if you don't have that mindset, you're not agile.
Right, I would agree. And I think what we're going to do here is we're going to just delve into that mindset aspect just a little bit deeper. So for many of us, now this is no one's fault, right? This is just kind of how the way things are. And what I mean by that is many of us in our workplaces, as we grow into our careers, we have been given a fixed mindset from early on. As a matter of fact, there are many that believe that, you're predetermined at birth, where you're going to be socially, intellectually, in terms of achievements, the whole nine yards. So, intelligence and personality and character, they're locked down in a fixed mindset, right? If you've ever worked with someone who ever said, "You're not smart enough to make those kinds of decisions. You don't get paid enough to make those kinds of decisions.
That's the way we've always done things.
That's above your pay grade," or things like that. That's just flat out insulting. And it really shuts people down. And so we have in corporate America, and I'm sure this is outside of corporate America as well, but even in our school systems, as children growing up, we're put in a box. And so that lends to a very fixed mindset. And that mindset tends to avoid failure, right? Ooh, now, I can't take that risk. I can't step out. I can't dare to be different. And so similarly, we stick to what we know then. We stay in our safe zone. And we never venture outside of that safe area, right? What we want to do, part of this agile mindset is we want to encourage a growth mindset in everyone that we encounter. So whether you're new into the workforce, coming right out of college, or you've been in the workforce for a while and you're working your way up into administrative positions of authority and leadership, regardless of where you stand in any organization, everyone has the potential to be a leader. And leaders, your number one job is to help people grow. And the more we help people grow, the more successful everyone involved will be, including the company and the organization that we work in, right? So what is a growth mindset? So a growth mindset is encouraging someone to continuous learning, always wanting to be hungry to learn and know more, and then try to apply everything that you've learned, right? Question the status quo. We need people to believe that their intelligence and their personality and their character is not fixed at birth. It evolves. Am I the same person that I was when I was your age?
I'd hope not.
I sure hope not either. Do I recognize that, yeah, I probably made a lot of mistakes when your age and even younger? I'm here to tell you I did, right? But we learn from our mistakes and we grow and we evolve into better, smarter, more capable people, right? More caring people as well. So that's a growth mindset. So I embrace, my successes and my failures. And, I'm not ashamed of my failures, right? Because that's how we learn.
Right.
So we can't discourage people from trying and failing in a growth mindset. So that's very important. One of the other things that we want to do is, we want feedback. Like, for example, from all of you in this channel, in this video, we want to know what you think. So that's feedback. We know not everyone is going to agree with us. And that applies to you in your workplace. That applies to you at home. Not everybody is going to agree with you at home either. So you've got to have that open mind and the ability to say, maybe what I was thinking isn't correct. Maybe it's not the best way. Maybe I don't know everything. Maybe I should allow you to step out of your comfort zone and try something, and let's see how I can help you. That's the only way you encourage and foster a growth mindset. So now that we've discussed, the Agile mindset, being Agile, doing Agile, and a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, there's an exercise or a challenge, if you will, that comes to mind that really kind of highlights where people get stuck in their beliefs, stuck in their way of thinking, even about themselves, right? That's the Marshmallow challenge. Why don't you explain a little bit about what that is?
So the Marshmallow challenge, if you're not familiar, it was done by Peter Skillman, and what he did was he got 4 different groups of people together. He got recent business school graduates, lawyers, CEOs that ran their own business, and kindergartners. Kindergartners. He got these 4 groups together, and he gave them spaghetti, 1 yard of tape, and then a marshmallow. And the rules of this challenge...
How many marshmallows?
Just the 1. And it has to be a freestanding structure with the marshmallow on top. It has to support its own weight. And each group gets 20 minutes to build their own structure.
Now, he did this several times, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And this is an exercise that I myself have participated in. I have done this as well. So what we would expect would that the recent business school graduates or the CEOs or the lawyers would smoke the kindergartners, right? Mm-hmm. You would expect that. You would expect the kindergartners to do the worst.
Well, that's conventional thinking.
In reality, because the kindergartners had that growth mindset, they were the ones that smoked everybody else. These kindergartners came out all the way on top.
Right. They had no limitations into their thought process, right? They weren't afraid of what they were doing.
Right. So what the business graduates, the lawyers, and the CEOs got tied down with was the fixed mindset of, we have to do all of our planning, then we have to do all of our design, then we're going to build, and then come the 20-minute mark when they say, okay, hands off, which is the first time they've taken their hands off their structure, it just falls flat on its face. And then, it's a single pass.
Right.
But the kindergartners, they take 3 pieces of spaghetti, make a tripod, and stick the marshmallow on it. Well, that's the tallest freestanding structure if everybody else's falls over. And so that's what the kindergartners would do, is they would try, it would fail, they would try again. Maybe that one worked, but maybe they wanted to go bigger, so they tried again, and the numbers, they said the kindergartners on average over the course of a 20-minute period would have 5 iterations of this tower, where the other 3 groups would have 1 at the 20-minute mark.
So did the kindergartners argue about who was in charge?
The kindergartners did not argue about who was in charge.
How about our group of professionals? Did that happen with them?
It did. So the group of professionals, they wanted to have a clear leader who would be in charge of the plan, a very hierarchical, bureaucratic, traditional structure.
Right.
I'm sure everybody is familiar with that structure of there's always a bigger fish, and the one on top, the highest paid person in the room gets to dictate what happens.
If each of these groups, I believe that each group only produced one prototype, right? Where the kindergartners on average produced 5. I believe the outcome or the decision was that because they were so busy as a group trying to, I guess, sell their own ideas to the group, they couldn't decide as a group or work together as a group because everyone thought that they had a better idea and weren't willing to participate as a team. They weren't willing to be open-minded. They, I'm right, you're wrong. I have the better idea, therefore the better way, the better solution.
And then when they finally did come to an agreement of, who was going to be in charge.
We're running out of time. Let's just do something.
Who's got the plan? And
right.
You're like, oh no, we only got 5 minutes left. Who hasn't been in that situation before where you've got 6 months of requirements gathering, and then you have your initiation meetings, your kickoffs, your design phase, your architecture, and then by the time it gets to your developers, well, it was supposed to be in production a month or 2 ago, and you're like, uh-oh. Right. Or you don't have enough time to test, so you say, we'll do it in production. I mean, if you've ever heard those words, that's kind of what we're facing here is...
Yeah. I love the... if you go out and you check this out, you're going to hear in the words of the creator, and it's amusing that, these highly educated, highly accomplished adults were smoked by a group of kindergartners that can't even tie their own shoes, right? Because not that they're not smart, not that they don't have great educations, it's their mindset. It's all about their mindset. So
it's fixed.
They're just so consumed by everything that they think they know, right? And the kindergartners could have cared less. They were just free and open, and they were playing. They were having fun, right? So, it's just such a great example of the agile mindset, being agile, what we want to encourage people to do. People have some fun, right? We're all in this together. So dare to be different, dare to experiment, encourage each other, help each other. The military has this thing which is very different about corporate America. And I want you to think about this for a minute. Have you ever watched, for those of you that have never been in the military, have you ever watched a movie where in the military something is happening? They're not just kind of lounging around or sitting around, but they're in the middle of a conflict, or they're in the middle of training and somebody falls behind. Well, what happens in the military is someone will always go back and help that person up. You never in the military leave someone behind. Well, in corporate America, do we do that with each other in corporate America?
No, you eat your own.
Right. It's all about me. How am I getting promoted? What can I do? How can I manage up? How can I look good? What's my appraisal going to look like? And so that's one of the, I think, the significant differences of corporate America and the military mindset. It's all about bringing people along, helping your partner out. We're all in this together. I think we need to do more of that with each other everywhere. And that's it for today, folks. We hope you enjoyed the video. We look forward to seeing your comments down below, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.